as the recording starts, the little box pops up. You have to click the word "Got it." That'll clear it out of the way. And then to have the setup, the best setup for this class, 3 chairs are required. One here with the back facing in. Another one here with the back facing in. Here's your little training area, right? So you're framing your training space. And then your third chair back here behind the training space so that you can stand up, do the exercises, sit down as needed. So take the time to set that up. And again, everyone's screen is off except for Wade's. So if you want to turn that on, you can. Bottom left corner. If you want to keep it off for any reason, you're in your pajamas or something, that's fine also. And we shall begin. So we begin sitting as always, whether it's the Monday class or the Friday class, the infrastructural level, like sort of principles that we want to attend to right out of the gate can be found in our sitting practice. The power of this that I think is important for everyone to think about is you can do this every day. Could be 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You could do it for 3 minutes a couple times a day. When things start to feel, you know, the dyskinesia or the energy or just alignment starts to slouch and slump, you come to the chair, you sit towards the front edge of the chair, buttock bones plugging down through it, hands resting on your thighs, chin slightly down, crown lengthening up. You find Zhongjung or central upright. And then sitting here is work. It's important exercise. Sitting correctly is important exercise. Sitting poorly, not so great, right? So training our deep intrinsic postural chassis of muscles from the pelvis through every vertebra of the spine, the rib cage, the shoulder blades, which includes now the arms, and then the skull and neck, the cervical spine and the skull, getting all of those relationships aligned correctly. And then if that was everything, then we could just hold on forever and say, yeah, we did it. But the important piece, the sort of Taoist understanding that's important, is that first you have to do this, get this alignment, and then you have to relax. And you have to relax in such a way that you do not lose your Zhongjung or your central upright. So if as soon as I relax, I deflate, well, I'm not really doing the practice. So you find the alignment and then you relax. Now to help us relax, the breathing becomes very important. So inhale through the nose, holding it. Exhale like a sigh out the mouth, softening the body. Then you hold it empty. And then inhale through the nose. Holding. Out the mouth like a sigh. So it's a softening, a releasing, a melt. Swallow it out. Hold empty. Don't rush to inhale. Then inhale again. Let's do a few more of these. Less is more. Fewer repetitions done with more attention. There's a shift occurring, a qualitative shift, a softening and a plumping of the tissue, a releasing of clench and grip in terms of the relationship of joints and tissue with each other. So this softening and relaxing. Do about 5 more of these breaths. Pay attention now to the idea of Chun One, which we've talked about. Softening and letting everything that can settle down through the chair, through your legs, to the earth. Let that all settle out of your body so you're not holding anything. And recognize that sensation of settling down as your stability. That's how we get stability, not from holding, but from releasing all holding. And there's this settling heaviness down through us under the ground, sort of like we're plugging our plug into the ground. As long as we keep our zhong-zheng, our uprightness through the whole body, while we let that softening happen, we then produce qingling, which is lightness, nimbleness, freedom of movement, while remaining grounded and stable. So we want both of those qualities. Too much of either throws us off. So now with this qingling, light, nimble quality, slide hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, look up, arch. And then slide hands forward past the knees till the elbows lock, hollow the chest and drop the head and around. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, inhale, inhale. Fill up, hold, hold, hold. And then exhale. Sliding the hands past the knees, hollow the chest, drop the head. Again. Inhale. Opening the front. And exhale. Close. One more. Come back to that neutral, that center. Ideally, you'll feel more qingling, more nimbleness, more softness and plumpness, more interior space from those movements. Keep that idea as you then go left hand forward, right hand and elbow back as you turn your shoulders and head to your right. And then soft and smooth back through middle, turning, 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 turn. And then back through middle and turn. And switch again, turn. And a couple more each side. Turn. Huge component of a healthy body, according to the Taoists, is just this ability to move through all the ranges that we were built to explore. Let's come back to middle. Arms hang. We change the weight a little bit to the right buttock, less in the left, and then droop, lateral flexion to the right. Lift your left wrist, your left foot is empty. So now you can sort of flirt with disaster, kind of lean to the edge. And then switch. Let the weight go down through the left buttock, left leg, a little more lean, soft, loose. And then change. And then change. Two more each way. Polishing, softening, loosening, and importantly, this idea of plumping. So as we move through these areas where we feel a little pain or resistance or rigidity, it's kind of because it's collapsed and there's not enough juice flow going through there. And so we're actually allowing for this juice to flow into the spaces, and there's a plumping that happens through our Taoist practice because we're not contracting and squeezing everything, we're opening and loosening everything. And so that's in the Taoist sort of literature, they talk about like a baby. So picture a baby in your mind right now and how juicy they are, how soft and plump, and yet their whole body has this great integrity to it. Because it's got that fresh, burgeoning life force. And so we want to cultivate that quality and let that spread to every little area, kind of like an irrigation process. Okay. Now, we're back in the middle. Arms hang by your sides. Let's do our shoulder blade circles. So we go forward, up, back. Stay back as they come down, but as they're coming down, they have to start coming under. So this is neutral. This is this neutral place where you're not forward, you're not back, you're not up, you're not anything at all. They're just hanging. And then you keep that quality as you spread the shoulder blades in the back, which brings them forward. You keep them somewhat forward as they come up the front side. Then they stay up as you bring those shoulder blades back, kind of squeezing them together. And then down the back, and then pretty soon they have to come under and forward. And so let's just get this movement here another few times. So many of you have learned this now quite a few times. I'm hoping you're getting better at it so that when you know, oh yeah, we're doing that thing, you can just go right into it and really get into those nooks and crannies, those tight spots. Shoulder blade, protraction, elevation, retraction, sliding under. And now we reverse that flow. So they are down in that neutral position. They go back, up, over the top, forward, down, back, up, over the top, forward, down. Now, what does this have to do with walking? Right? Why are we spending so much time on the shoulder blades if walking has only anything to do with feet, right? That's kind of how sometimes people think. But the reality is being top heavy with tension in the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the upper back causes us to be easily tipped over. And so what we're trying to do here is loosen up all of that so that the upper area is what they would call empty. So there's a saying in Tai Chi, top empty, bottom full. Whereas a lot of times we're top full, bottom empty, and we feel less stable. So we're softening ourselves to find bottom full, top empty. All right. Now, scoot back a little bit. Let's take right knee up towards chest. Draw the heel in. So now we're trying to, like a spring, compress and then issue out through the leg and then recompress and then set that foot down. Other leg. You bring it in like a spring loading, then unload it, and then reload it, and then set it down. Load, push, load, down. So because we're not pushing against any resistance, we're not doing like weight training or resistance training. What are we doing? We're doing joint mobilization, unhindered free movement for the knee joint, hip joint, the foot as well. So we're just trying to get to where it's all the way straight and then all the way bent and then down, so that the whole mechanism, the function of that mechanism is complete, rather than what I notice is people end up sort of being halfway in between, sort of this medium lift and then kind of out and then kind of, and especially with Parkinson's, that's something I've noticed with all my private client work, is that thoroughness is something you have to pay attention to. So let's just do one more each side, where it's take the time to get all the way to the end of the movement and then all the way back to compress and then down, relax, and then all the way to the loaded where it can't go any further, and then all the way to the straight, it doesn't go any further, and then boom, down. Now the same idea with the foot and ankle. Straighten your right leg, point the foot all the way, then flex the foot all the way. So fewer repetitions done with complete thoroughness is what we're wanting to have happen here, rather than, again, a million of these that are kind of half in the middle, mediocre, right? So all the way point, all the way flex, all the way. Now this little funny movement here, tilt the foot in, tilt the foot out. It's a small movement, but an important one, called inversion, eversion. And then we circle. So we go in, point, go all the way around to the out position, and then come up and over, and then around again. But the thoroughness is most important, not number of reps, but all the way. And then reverse, come around the other way. So this is for the brain, this is for the joints and tissue, it's for the nervous system. Conscious movement. Let's go ahead and set that foot down. Other leg, point all the way, flex all the way. So you got to send that signal all the way, get it to finish. All the way, get it to finish. All the way, finish. All the way, finish. Couple more. And tilt the foot a little bit in, out, in, out, invert, evert, in and out, and circles, in, around, out and up, in, point, out, flex, thorough movement, and then switch. And down. So once again, scoot to the front edge of your chair if you're not there yet. Step your feet slightly wider than hip distance, so there's extra space here. Lift the toes off the ground. Turning on the heels. Notice how the knees go in, the toes go in, and the groin area closes. It sort of pinches closed. And then lift the toes up again and turn open. Open this, what they call the quad. It's this relationship between the pelvis and torso and each leg. So we want to have a space here so that movement becomes available rather than it held stiffly and then we walk around sort of boxy and robotic, right? So as you close and as you open, keep your mind on the idea that what we're cultivating, yes, is the joint, is the tissue, is the nervous system, is the brain. It's all of those things. And it's the space. So have this idea that you want to be soft and relaxed, because what we're trying to feel is, oh, I have space inside rather than no space inside. And that goes for the shoulders. Everything we just did for the shoulders, yes, it's the tissue and joints, but really what it ends up being when you're practicing Tai Chi is like, oh, there's space that my body moves around. So we want that here as well. And then back to the neutral position. Bring your feet back to hip distance. Now that same space is what we use to hip hinge. So just fold, using that space to fold in half, using that space to come back to vertical, using that space to lean back, and then use that space to fold. So if you can just be super duper relaxed, just leisurely. That's a big piece of Taoist practice, which I love, is this idea that you're not doing it right if you're not in a state of leisure. That it's got to feel like, this smooth. That doesn't mean it's not powerful, swift, athletic, potent. It just means that if you aren't in a state of leisure, you're tense in a way that is blocking you from accessing loose, live, spirally movement, liquid movement. So now back to vertical. Now we use that exact same sort of set of ideas to stand up. So slide your feet a little bit back. So notice how my ankles are here. So my main goal to stand up is to get shoulders, arms, and head in front of the ankles by folding at the hips. Right? So notice I've got arms, shoulders, head in front of my ankles. My butt is behind the ankle line. So once I've achieved this, standing is no problem, right? Same thing with sitting. I got to go hip hinge from this space in the hips. Hip hinge, stick the butt behind my ankle, my arms hanging. A lot of times people do this when they're going to sit down. They're holding on and they're actually fighting against themselves versus loosen up, fold in half with a relaxed body, find your chair, and there you have it. You're down, right? Here, your feet are empty. And then we just fold. It's like we're pouring a glass of water. We're pouring our body weight out of the chair, down to the earth. We're letting it stay down in the earth so that what happens when we stand up is this loose, limber, relaxed body is what we have up here. We're not clinging to it, white knuckle grip through the whole body, which is what a lot of people have going on, right? Somewhere, if not everywhere, people are grabbing and going, I'm afraid to fall. So we got to practice relax and then moving with that relaxation and noticing, wow, I can accomplish a lot of important movements in my life, if not every movement, in a state of leisure, softness, and relaxation. Now, don't sit in your chair, but use this movement to pick up an imaginary pen or your glasses or something you dropped on the floor. So watch me do it once. A lot of times people do this when they think, oh, I'm going to go down and get something off the floor. But watch this piece here. If I just sink, now I'm near the floor. My body weight is grounded. I'm coiled up. I'm loaded. My back is opening really nicely. And then I pick up that item. Rather than if I go down, stiff back, and I reach, and then I try to pick something up this way, now I'm straining the back. So use this coiling up, this loading of the spring, call this the Tai Chi squat. Because it's different than normal squats where people go, stiffen everything and hold on. We're saying, no, don't hold on at all. Just soft, melt down to the earth, rise back up. One more. Melt and rise. Now be courageous enough to just leave the weight in the ground. Don't grab onto your body. Just leave it in the ground. Now you should have a chair to your right. If you set up like I told you to set up at the beginning, which again is your best bet to get your most out of this class. Here's the chair. Step over to it and face it, fingertips on the chair. So now this is here for safety. You can touch the chair. You could practice no hands, but know the chair is there. Now, if you watch my body, I just lean forward a little bit. My foot, there's more of my foot in front of my ankle than behind my ankle. That's why my body can lean like this. The weight goes into the toes, but I'm not falling down. I'm still grounded, still got alignment. Back to the middle. where you're equally in toes and heels. And then from your belly level, you can just leave the weight a little bit back so that you're more in your heels. This is the one you might want your hands on chair for. But that little bit, and notice what I'm not doing. So Wade, notice how you're doing this. That's not what we're doing here. This. Notice how this part of me is where my movement came from. My middle went back a little, and now I'm in my heels. So let's all do it with the hands on the chair. So grab your chair and send your belly level back and try to pick your toes up off the ground. You see how my toes are not on the ground? So find that line down to the earth. And then bring it back to the middle. And then lean forward. Middle. Back. And the back doesn't come from where you think it does. So if you're leaning your head and shoulders back, notice, look at me when I do it. Notice how I'm not doing this at all. I am doing this. So I'll tilt the screen up just a bit so you can see it. And this is an illustration of the fact that our middle is here, not here or here. So my middle goes back. My head and shoulders actually kind of go forward to stay balanced. And then you lean. And then you rock back and find the heels and toes. Now, finally, go into your toes, hands on your chair, lift your heels way, way up, get all the way to the tippy, tippy toes. And then down, and then rock back to those heels and pull the toes up off the floor. And then down. And again, rock into your toes and lift. Down. Rock back and lift. And down. And David Wagner, make sure you're vertical. Notice how your butt is way behind your shoulders, right? Remember, that's your homework assignment. So get closer to your chair and stand up straighter. Get your hips under you. Get your butt under you. Get your chest up. You got to find vertical. Okay, so now once we have that vertical and we feel this, we've kind of located our middle, turn and face forward. Step a little bit back behind this chair. It's still within your reach, but you have some space in front of you here. Now, no hands. Drop the hands. Find your vertical line. Now, if you want your hand, always feel free to put it there, but I'm saying this first exercise, we can do no hands. From your middle, change your weight to your right leg. Let that knee be bendable, like a spring. Just let it kind of bend a little and take the weight. And if you let this take your weight, this becomes emptier. Can you move it a little bit? And then from your middle pivot, change. So now it's the left leg that you're giving 100% as best you can, so that there's 0 over here. And then 100% and 0. 100% and 0. So when we walk, when we go up the stairs, naturally the mind attends to the moving foot. We go, okay, I got to focus on this foot that I'm about to step on the stair, or that I'm about to step forward. But what I want you to see here is that there's this preliminary event of 100 and 0. And then 100 and 0. That has nothing to do with what is happening with any foot. It's a change of the quality or the state of full and empty. Now, go into your left leg, 100%. Your right foot is empty. That emptiness is what allows you now to lift the heel, get to the tippy toe. So the freedom of this foot comes not from efforting here, but from correctly connecting to the ground here. Put the foot down with no weight, change. So now right leg is full, left empty, lift the heel, get to the tippy toe. Put the foot down, still no body weight, change again. Tippy toe, down, change. When we move from our middle pivot in the belly level, we get to keep vertical axis. So I'm changing left to right leg, but I'm not doing this and this, which is what happens when we don't move correctly from our middle pivot. We throw the boat around, we rock the boat, threaten to tip the boat over, right? Now, hand on chair, get to your tippy toe. Now we disconnect. Just stand there for a moment. Use the chair to help you. Try to feel its empty quality is what allows this to lift. Place the whole foot down with zero weight, but the whole foot is on the ground. Then from your middle pivot, change. Once this is 100 and this is 0, tippy toe, lift, and just let it hang there for a moment. Foot in the air, pay attention to it's this leg that is what makes this possible. Put the foot down, it's still empty, so I didn't go kerplunk, down, change, one full, one empty, tippy toe, lift, down, change, tippy toe, lift. If I don't take the time to empty the foot and I just pull it up with force, I threaten to throw my body off balance. But if I get the 100-0, this can come up, hand down, and nothing is disturbed. So really focusing on this changing of full and empty. Full and empty. Now, hand on chair if you've taken it off, so we can go all the way up. So that you're sitting the hip to sort of like an origami, fold this leg up. Like I said, an unhindered movement, right? So it's loose, free. And then lower the leg all the way down. Change the weight first. This one being empty, you can go tippy toe, lift, and possibly even fold, right? So it's not going any higher than this. This is its thorough, this is the final place. And then we go all the way down. Then we change. All the way up. All the way down. Change. And then the importance, again, is that we are not like this, trying to do this, because we're not training what we want. We get to this vertical. And then we down through here to allow this. Down through here to allow that. Next exercise. Change the weight to your left leg. Put your right foot in front, heel touching. I'll turn a little angle here so you can see. Now, I am going to go forward, but I don't go forward. Instead, down. And down. So my body is now moving forwards in space, but if I think backward or forward, I'm probably going to throw myself too far over my middle and start to feel imbalanced. So the good news is you can just relax. You just be leisurely. Arms hang. Let those arms hang loose. Yeah, so we're not holding ourselves. We're loose. And then we're just soft shift. Soft shift. Soft. Soft. Now, level 2, use the chair for assistance as you lift, lower, shift. And then your back leg like a little flamingo, bend the knee. So it's a test to see, do I really have 100, 0? Put the foot down. And then shift. Do I have 100, 0? Let me test it. Okay, and then shift. 100, 0. Test. Shift. Shift. And then the level 3 of this exercise, all the way to this position, like we did a moment ago, all the way to here, and then we set that heel down very lightly. Shift. Once the right is full, left is empty, we bring the left forward and up like you're about to step up over a big curve or something, and then back and shift. And so we're just more and more hoping to feel, I can be relaxed and yet execute very powerful movement. Big range movement, and yet inwardly I'm still, I'm relaxed, I'm at ease. And feet together, let's switch sides, side step. Shift over here. Now you got this chair a little bit in front of you. Put the weight through your right leg and your left foot out in front, heel touching, and then we do level one. Level one is the best time to practice no hands on anything because we're not really leaving the ground. We're just shifting, toe is staying in touch, shifting, heel is staying in touch. But you can do this little wiggle that I'm doing where I just kind of go, how empty is my foot? Okay, good. And then I change and I go, okay, now how empty is this foot? Good. And then change. One more, level one. Level two. Might want that chair so that you can lift and lower confidently. And then shift. And ideally when we use the chair, we're not grabbing it or leaning on it. We're just saying, okay, I've got it there to help me. And then this one, we go a little flamingo. A little bend, toe down behind you, shift. From this hip, float, down, shift. Flamingo, down, shift. Hip hinge. And level three, it's the hip hinge and sort of origami folding up of the leg. And then let that leg go down softly and shift. And now this leg coming forward and up like you're going to step onto a big high stair or curve. And then back without any weight, toe touching, and then shift. The down allows the up. The down allows the up. The down gives us the freedom for up. So the down is primary. The down is what we got to get right. The up can come after that. Down right, relaxed body, and easy. And back to middle. Change sides again. Step aside, or step to the side. Now, make sure you're back from the chair a little bit. We're going to take one full step forward. So change the weight to your left leg, right foot in front. Shift, your back foot empty, step. Still empty, and then shift into it. And then shift back into that right foot. Step it behind, empty. Notice how my weight is not in that foot yet. And then I shift. Now my weight is empty here. So we go change the weight, step while still empty, change the weight. And then change the weight. Step while empty, change the weight. Leisure. Just fall to the earth. Fall to the earth through the relaxed body. Connect to the ground, stay connected to the ground, moving forward and back. Level two, lift, lower, shift. Now your empty foot, imagine an obstacle on the floor. You got to pick up the foot, move it up over something, set it down empty, and then shift. Back foot like a flamingo. And then shift, same obstacle, we got to come up in front, tuck, reach the foot back, all still while empty, and change, lift, lower, shift. Once it's empty, you can safely step, and then shift, flamingo. down. Make sure you get to the earth before you try to move that foot, or else you're rolling the dice. Right? But here we want to have a sure thing. We want to go, okay, I'm connected to the ground, I know it, so I can safely step. And then here I'm connecting to the ground, I know it. And so the mastery of separating empty full, changing empty full is the real trick here. Now, level 3, up, down, shift. And now we're just going maximum range, heel to butt, knee up, foot floats out, lower that down, all while still just being in your left leg, your right leg, and then shift. And then here we go all the way here, all the way back, and now we go backwards. Shift. We go up, tuck, take it back through, find the earth, still with no weight, and then change. Up, down, change, heel, knee, foot, down, change, knee, toe, change, up, tuck, reach, change. One more. Again, from my middle, if I'm doing it right, it's like I'm floating the whole time. There's a soft, easy quality inside, even though outside there's all this moving happening, but it's not disturbing my equilibrium. Change sides. So feet together, step, get near your other chair. Make sure you're a little bit back from the chair so it's in front of you. Empty your left foot, filling your right. Place the left heel in front. Level 1, leisurely. Shift. Wait for your right foot to be empty. Step it while it's still empty. Shift. And reverse. Shift, step, shift. Let your middle go along for the ride. Just floating along, changing full to empty, empty to full. Casual, leisurely. Level 2, lift, lower, shift. There's an obstacle on the floor. Pick up the foot, step over it, shift, flamingo. Shift, up, tuck, reach, shift from the hip, lift, lower, shift, step over the obstacle, shift, flamingo. This one, up, tuck, and very importantly, as you reach the foot back, you sort of recalibrate to this front leg so that you're not being pulled back. So the foot can be here with 0 weight. And that really shows whether we got our middle or not. Shift. So this middle is, again, a constant. So that constant that we're looking for in terms of balance, that constant comes from this middle. We only have that middle when everything else is loose and free. Level 3, zzz, down. From the middle, we're just changing. The middle is our stability, freedom of movement, change. We're connecting to the earth. The middle is that stability we're looking for. Freedom of movement around the middle. Freedom of movement around the middle. Anywhere we're holding, we're limiting our own freedom of movement. But we do it because being too free, we don't feel very stable. But over time, you find, oh, I'm looking for stability in the wrong place when I'm doing this. I got to look for it by loosening everything and then finding that internal settled quality. And step further to the left of your space, and then turn and face across. So now we've got a big runway, and you're going to do level 1 walking forwards and backwards. Your chairs should be to your left so that you have safety mechanisms should you need them. Empty your left foot, put the foot out in front. Level 1, we just chain. Step while still empty. Chain. Step the empty foot. Chain. Step the empty foot. Chain. Step. Chain. Going backwards is always a little trickier. Be careful. But it's still the same. Change the weight down. Have one foot be empty. That empty foot, you step back, keeping it empty. Find the floor behind you with the toe. Then change. The weight goes down. Then you've created an empty foot again, so you can step it. Chain. Step the other foot. Chain. Step. Chain. Let's do it again. Eventually, this is just walking. It's just walking, but it's like now you have in your mind this idea that you're not just walking on 2 peg legs going clop, 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 clop. Instead, you're empty full. You're using a spring-loadedness in the leg. You're practicing being grounded the whole time by being soft. And then let's do a round where we do up and over, chain, up and over, chain, up, over, chain, right? So this one takes the challenge up a level. That's why the chairs are there. This is why if you have a walker or a cane, you can practice this stuff. You have a big walking stick, that's usually a good one as well. Walk across your house and really work on 100, 0, step. It's this relationship that we've kind of forgotten about how to relate to the earth, how to relate to the stableness of the earth with this body of ours. That's what needs to upgrade. Now, once you're back to where we started, sort of you could say the left side. If you're facing forward, it would be the left side of your space. Then we do our lateral movement. So change the weight to your left leg. Right leg is empty. Float the foot out to the right and in. Out, in. I'm going to do that again. Notice what I'm not doing from my middle. I'm not going jumping, essentially. Not doing that. I'm 100, 0 and going out, in. This foot is empty the whole time. Out. But what I'm also not doing is this, staying up here and going for the toe, kind of ballet style. We got to be down through the body to the earth. And when I go here, the whole foot, the heel included on the ground, that forces an opening of this space I was talking about before, the quad. And then close that quad. Open that quad. Close that quad. Now, open, stay open. Now we close the right quad, open the left. Keep that left heel on the ground. And then close the left, open the right. Keep the right heel on the ground. And then close the right. So notice that space I was talking about before, we cultivate interior real estate that now allows us movement. Now I'm changing my relationship to the room. I'm also changing from full empty to full empty, which is going to allow me freedom of movement. Now, down through the right leg, bring your left foot in, out. But notice it's got to have that empty, open quad, close quad, open quad, close quad, not a clunky thing. Right? And then finally, bring that left foot in, feet are together. This foot is empty. Now, change. So this is full, this is empty. Change. So this really forces us, when we got feet together, we have to find that internal mechanism and find the way down, down, down. And notice the teacup on my head is still relatively in balance. I'm not going like that. I'm finding the movement elsewhere, finding it in this relationship here. Right? Now, put the weight through your left. Right foot is empty. Step out. Change. Left foot is empty. In. Change. Out. Change. In. Change. Out. Change. In. Change. Out. That way. Out. Change. In. Again, there and back. Out. Change. In. Change. Out. And as I mentioned in other classes, as you get better at this, at letting the weight get to the earth, the better you get at this to the earth, the soft to the earth, then what you could call swiftness of movement becomes available. So as I can go down right away, this can go out right away. So they can sort of go boom, boom. They can be syncopated quicker instead of change, step, which is where we begin, change, step. We're doing this so that we can discern the events, the change of weight, the emptiness step. We're discerning these events in a slow, sort of infuriating way at some level. But the beauty of that is that you now find the way through, so it can be out and it can be sort of a change step, change step. So now I'm moving quickly, but my internal experience is not speeding up. Because that's where we get in trouble. The phone rings and you got to get to it and you go, ah, and you go and then you can trip versus going, no, the swiftest way to get from A to B is actually, so on this round, let's do one more round, you try that. The swiftest way from A to B is softer, more soft, in a way more slow. So it's boom ba, ba ba, ba ba, da da, da dee, da da. And this applies to all the movement, but we're just looking at it in this side step for the moment, where I'm not going rushing. Instead, I'm going, step, okay, boom, okay, boom, okay, boom, okay, there, okay, there. Now I glided across the floor. I was grounded the whole time. My nervous system was chill, and I got there, right? So this is what Taoism and Tai Chi offers, is these different understandings of how to move. And come to this place between your chairs, right in between with them on your left and right. Now, all these same skills, taken one step further. Change the weight to your left leg. Right leg is in a ball and socket joint, so it can rotate and rotate. So remember, we did that earlier. We did the external and internal rotation. So turn your right foot out. Turn your right foot in. Out. In. From the hip, out, in. Switch legs, go down through your right leg, left foot, out. So I got my stable quality, and then I got my free moving quality, which is everything else. Everything else is safe and free to move if I've got my stable relationship to the earth. Now, weight down through the left leg. We go right foot, turn out. Change the weight into the right leg by going down through it, the body turn, and bring the left foot next to your right foot. So you should quarter turn to the right. And then take the weight down through your left leg, so your right foot is free. Turn the right foot out again, and then go down through the right leg, turn the body to match it, bring the left foot to match it, and we do it again. Empty the right foot and turn it out. Change the weight down through it, turn the body to match. Change the weight. Turn. Go around again. So the power of this is orientation. Orienting ourselves to what is coming at us or where we're trying to go. And I know from my work with people of all of the upper ages, let's say, that this is where a lot of falls happen, because we're accustomed to not having to think about how to turn, and we've got this upper body tension, and so people turn from up on top and fall over their feet. So instead, we want to empty, turn the foot, have that be how we aim where we're headed. Aim where you're headed safely. And then just switch directions, go the other way. So turn the left foot out, change where we're now pointing or relating. Empty, turn the left foot out, change. All the while your middle pivot's just floating. Just floating. Go around twice. And then facing forward, instead of turning right foot out, turn right foot in. Change the weight into the right leg and bring your left foot back to match. So where that first one had a sort of forward going direction, this has a sort of backward direction energetically. So your right foot, we pigeon toe, so it turns in, and then change the weight into that right leg, and notice how now I'm facing a new direction. My right foot, I empty it, pigeon toe it, pigeon toe, and then, or turn it in or internally rotate, and then there's a shift and a turn and a reorient. Right foot turn in. Bring the foot back. Go around twice. So it's all the skills that we worked on in simpler context. This is a more complicated context because now we're rotating in space. Once you're facing forward again, let's do left foot, turn in, change the weight, reorient. Empty the left foot, turn it in, change, turn in. Change, go around twice. So moving around our lives is essentially a combination of everything we've worked on today. Just like poetry is a combination of the letters of the alphabet, right? So all the different cool movements, athletic movements of the body have this underlying infrastructure that we want to remember to develop and cultivate. And then bring hands together once you're facing forward. Rub. Palms. Back of one hand. Palms. Back of other hand. Palms. The quad, or the groin inguinal crease. Hands on it, up and down. When we do chi massage, we don't press with effort. It's a soft pressure, but a vigorous action on the surface. And that opens up the chi spaces. Whereas if we push on areas, then the body responds in a defensive way. So we're just saying, it's all right, it's okay, open up. And then we go to the hip flexors, same idea, the front of the hips. We're not pressing hard, but we have a nice soft sort of pressure, and then we're somewhat vigorously rubbing the spaces. Then we come around to the sacrum, the tailbone, and then up onto our lower back area, known as the Ming Men or the gait of life, and these muscles around it are so important. And then remember the Tai Chi squat that we did. Hip hinge, sit the buttocks, slide the hands down the outside of the legs, around to the inside, standing up, hands come past the groin to the belly button, which is our middle. This line through us at the middle. Now go qua, hip flexors, sacrum and tail, lumbar, that lower back, Tai Chi squat while sweeping the yang channels, the outside, then standing as you come up the inside to the navel. Let's do that one final time. Qua, hip flexors, sacrum and tail, lumbar, and finally the yang channels, yin channels, off. Yang channels, same arm, stay on the same arm. Turn, yin channels, off. Yang, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin. Remember, soft, everything's soft. Yang, switching arms. Turn. Wings, roll, fold. Settle, 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 settle. What's called middle embrace. So when my hands were coming down, they're sort of facing the down. That's guiding everything as settling. And then here, there's this little turn. That it's not quite here. It's not quite here. It's this in-between quality of cradling. So the hands help us get this feeling of like a nest or a reservoir or a place of resting, which again, according to Chinese energetics, is deep in the navel, deep in the middle there. That's where everything consolidates naturally, just like water that settles through the ground and finds its way to whatever the reservoir place is. It doesn't do it because someone's pushing the water there. It's the nature of the water to find what they call the low, to find the middle, to find the settling place. So that's what we're doing here. Let's do that one more time. Wings, roll, fold. So this has that gesture of consolidate, gather, and then we're just letting there be this settling, settling, settling quality. We get to that level of the belly, the middle, and the hands do this, just that little change of cradle quality. Make sure your knees are soft, hips loose and soft, shoulders, elbows, wrists, everything's loose. Doesn't mean it's sloppy or losing integrity. It's just being held together through this song, or soft and suppleness, rather than grabbing, holding, tension, that kind of thing. So again, these are interesting philosophical ideas, but what's most interesting is that the more you practice, the more the body changes. It changes into softer, lighter, more fluid, more plump, more nourished, rested. And then what you also get is athleticism from that. You get a swiftness, a brightness, a springiness from that we don't get if we just keep hammering away and tensing and forcing. Just don't get it. And then we close the practice, one hand over navel. So again, here's the belly button. Go center palm right on top. and then the center of this palm over the center of the back of this palm. So we're just kind of stacking, sort of like a wine barrel cork. Take a final 3 breaths here. This is where we officially fully close our practice, and we just make sure to come to complete zero. Complete settle. Reorganize. And then the final hand mudra. Grab one thumb, fold over top. So you got this little position. So together, right? So we close going. Thank you, everybody. So any final questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. And again, thank you for being here.